Robert McNair Price is an American theologian and writer, known for arguing against the existence of a historical Jesus. He teaches philosophy and religion at the Johnnie Colemon Theological Seminary, is professor of biblical criticism at the Center for Inquiry Institute, and the author of a number of books on theology and the historicity of Jesus. A former Baptist minister, he was the editor of the Journal of Higher Criticism from 1994 until it ceased publication in 2003. He has also written extensively about the Cthulhu Mythos, a shared universe created by the writer H.P. Lovecraft. He also co-wrote a book with his wife, Carol Selby Price, Mystic Rhythms, the philosophical vision of Rush, on the rock band Rush. Price is a fellow of the Jesus Seminar, a group of 150 writers and scholars who study the historicity of Jesus, the organizer of a web community for those interested in the history of Christianity, and sits on the advisory board of the Secular Student Alliance. He is a religious skeptic, especially of Orthodox Christian beliefs, occasionally describing himself as a Christian atheist. Background: Price was formerly a Baptist minister in New Jersey, with doctorates in theology and New Testament religious writings. In books like The Incredible Shrinking Son of Man and Deconstructing Jesus, Price challenges biblical literalism and argues for a more skeptical and humanistic approach to Christianity. He views Jesus of Nazareth as an invented figure conforming to the mythic hero archetype. In the documentary The God Who Wasn't There, Price supports a version of the Jesus myth hypothesis, suggesting that the early Christians adopted the model for the figure of Jesus from the popular Mediterranean dying rising savior myths of the time, such as that of Dionysus. He argues that the comparisons were known at the time, as early church father Justin Martyr had admitted the similarities. Price suggests that Christianity simply adopted themes from the dying rising God stories of the day and supplemented them with themes from the popular stories of the day in order to come up with the narratives about Christ. He has argued that there was an almost complete fleshing out of the details of the Gospels by a midrash rewriting of the Septuagint, Homer, Euripides, Bacchae, and Josephus. At the same time, Price cautiously concludes that a genuine historical figure ultimately lies at the root of the Christian religion, because that figure was eventually made into God. Price describes his view on Jesus as euhemerist, namely, the view that a mythical figure is placed into history. But Price admits uncertainty in this regard. He writes at the conclusion of his 2000 book Deconstructing Jesus, "There may have been a real figure there, but there is simply no longer any way of being sure." H.P. Lovecraft scholarship. As editor of the journal Crypt of Cthulhu and of a series of Cthulhu Mythos anthologies, Price has been a major figure in H.P. Lovecraft scholarship and fandom for many years. In essays that introduced the anthologies and the individual stories, Price traces the origins of Lovecraft's entities, motifs, and literary style. The Cthulhu cycle, for example, saw the origins of the octopoid entity in Alfred Lord Tennyson's The Kraken, and particular passages from Lord Dunsany, while the Dunwich cycle points to the influence of Arthur Machen on Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror. Price's religious background often informs his mythos criticism, seeing Gnostic themes in Lovecraft's fictional god as a thoth and interpreting the shadow over Innsmouth as a kind of initiation ritual. Most of the early Cthulhu books by Chaosium were overseen by Price. His first book was the Hastur cycle, an anthology of short stories which traced the development of a single Lovecraftian element, and this was followed by Mysteries of the Worm, a collection of Robert Bloch's mythos fiction. Other works: Price runs The Bible Geek, a broadcast show where Price answers listeners' questions. In 2010 he became one of 3 new hosts on Point of Inquiry, following the retirement of host E.J. Groth from the show. Having appeared on the show twice before as a guest, he hosted until 2012. In 2005, he appeared in Brian Fleming's documentary film The God Who Wasn't There, and is the subject of the documentary The Gospel According to Price by writer-director Joseph Nunny. Debates. In 1999, he debated William Lane Craig, arguing against the historicity of Jesus' resurrection. In 2010, he debated James White, arguing against the reliability of the Bible. He is set to debate New Testament scholar Bat Ehrman on the historicity of Jesus in October 2016. Books, magazines. Editor of Midnight Shambhala and Crypt of Cthulhu.